Please note, this video is designed for educational purposes and should be viewed with responsible understanding of the ethical implications of power dynamics. Welcome to Machiavellian Psychology, where we dive deep into the strategies of power and success. Today, we're embarking on a captivating journey through the 48 Laws of Power by Robert Greene. First is Law 1, never outshine the master. Let's unravel the intricacies of this law and discover how it applies in our daily lives. At its core, Law 1 advises us to always make those above us feel superior. In any hierarchy, whether it's in the workplace, social circles, or even in family dynamics, there's always a master. Our success depends on acknowledging and respecting their position. History is replete with examples. Take Louis XIV's court, where courtiers vied for the king's favor. Those who outshone the king found themselves out of favor, or worse. It's a timeless lesson in understanding power dynamics. In today's world, this law still holds true. Outshining your boss or leader can often lead to resentment. It's not about suppressing your talents, but rather about mastering the art of subtlety and timing. It's a delicate balancing act. How do you excel without eclipsing your master? The key lies in making your superiors appear more brilliant than they are. Ensuring your talents are recognized without overshadowing theirs. Conversely, there are cautionary tales. Those who ignored this law often faced demotions, loss of favor, or career stagnation. Remember, it's about perception as much as reality. Learn how to use enemies. But why do friends become the most likely to betray? Psychologically, friends are prone to envy and emotion. They know your weaknesses. In contrast, an enemy is predictable, their hostility transparent. Turning an enemy into an ally is a powerful move. It's a transformation from hostility to respect, often built on mutual interests and goals. Let's look at some case studies. From Abraham Lincoln's cabinet choices to business leaders who hire their fiercest critics, the pattern's clear. These leaders understood the value of keeping enemies close, utilizing their perspectives and skills. So, how do we apply this law in today's world? It's not about distrusting friends or recklessly aligning with enemies. It's about balance, understanding human nature, and strategic positioning. In your professional life, be aware of the limitations of friendship and the potential value in adversaries. It's about respect, not mistrust. Law 2 of the 48 Laws of Power teaches us a vital lesson in power dynamics. It's a call to be vigilant, strategic, and above all aware of the complexities of human relationships. Next, we're exploring Law 3 of the 48 Laws of Power. Conceal your intentions. This law, drawn from Robert Greene's influential book, teaches us the art of mystery and subtlety in achieving our goals. Why conceal your intentions? The answer lies in the unpredictable nature of human behavior. When others are unaware of your true goals, they cannot prepare a defense or sabotage your plans. History is rife with examples, from court intrigues of ancient empires to modern-day boardroom battles. The most successful leaders mastered the art of hiding their true intentions. But how does one conceal their intentions? It begins with controlling your emotions and expressions. Your face and words must become masks that reveal nothing. Thus, it's a tool to be used judiciously and wisely. Experts in psychology and strategy have discussed extensively the practical applications and ethical considerations of this law. The effectiveness of concealing intentions can be seen in various fields, from business negotiations to political campaigns. The element of surprise often shifts the balance of power. Remember, power is a game of perception and strategy. Law 3, conceal your intentions, is a vital piece in this complex puzzle. Next, we uncover Law 4 of the 48 Laws of Power. Always say less than necessary. When words are many, there is often regret, but when words are few, there is less chance for error. This law teaches us the power of silence and the strategic use of words. In the courts of old, wise advisors knew that the more they spoke, the more likely they were to offend or reveal too much. They understood that power often lies in mystery and the unknown. In today's world, this law is equally relevant. In business negotiations, the less you say, the more commanding and powerful you appear. Your words become valuable and anticipated. Beware the pitfalls of oversharing. Loose lips sink ships and can lead to unforeseen problems. From revealing your hand to giving others the chance to use your words against you. Embrace the power of silence. In stillness, you find strength. In quiet, you command respect. Remember, in the game of power, sometimes the most impactful move is to simply hold your tongue. Imagine your reputation as a towering structure. It's built brick by brick, through every action, every decision. But remember, it's much easier to tear down than to build. Consider the story of Julius Caesar. His reputation as a formidable leader and strategist was not just a product of his victories but also his ability to manage public perception. In today's world, reputation is equally vital. It can be the difference between success and failure in business, politics, and even personal relationships. Statistics show that a good reputation leads to better opportunities, higher trust, and greater influence. Conversely, a tarnished reputation can lead to a rapid fall from grace. Psychologists, historians, and power strategists understand the nuances of reputation management. Reputation is not just what you do, but also what others believe you do. In the digital age, managing your reputation online is as crucial as in the real world. So, how do you guard your reputation? It's about consistency, integrity, and understanding the power of perception. Let's see some real-life scenarios where reputation plays a key role and how different approaches can lead to different outcomes. Remember, your reputation is your most valuable asset. Guard it with your life. But why is attention so important? In our world where countless voices and choices bombard us, being noticed is more challenging and more valuable than ever. Attention is the currency of power. In our information-saturated age, humans have a deep-seated need to be acknowledged and remembered. Those who understand this leverage it to their advantage. Look at any great leader or influencer in history, and you'll see a master of attention. They knew how to create an aura of charisma and mystery that drew people in. But courting attention is not just about being loud or flamboyant. It's an art. It involves creating an air of mystery, being unpredictable, and standing out from the crowd in a way that fascinates and intrigues. So, how can you apply Law 6 in your life? Start by being bold in your actions and appearance. Express yourself in a way that's unique to you. Be a source of fascination. And remember, in the theater of power, visibility is key. But be warned, the pursuit of attention is a double-edged sword. It requires a delicate balance. Seek attention, but don't be desperate. Be conspicuous, but not controversial. The art is in making it seem effortless and natural. In the game of power, those who master the art of attracting and managing attention write their own destinies. Remember, in a world where everyone is trying to be heard, the one who captures attention holds power. And then stood at the forefront, basking in the glory of collective achievements. But why is this law so crucial in the pursuit of power? It's simple. By leveraging the skills and labor of others, you multiply your own effectiveness. You conserve your energy and resources, focusing instead on the bigger picture. Imagine yourself as a conductor of an orchestra. Each musician plays their part, but it is you, the conductor, who receives the ovation. This is the essence of Law 7. The psychology behind this law is rooted in the desire for recognition and respect. Humans inherently seek acknowledgement for their achievements. Historically, figures like Thomas Edison and Steve Jobs exemplified this law. They were masters at utilizing the genius of others and were celebrated as visionaries. But beware. The implementation of this law is a delicate art. It requires subtlety and finesse. You must acknowledge contributions while skillfully ensuring that the final accolades are directed towards you. Next, we explore light of the 48 laws of power. Make other people come to you. Use bait if necessary. This law teaches us the art of attracting people rather than chasing them. A tactic that can be as subtle as it is powerful. Imagine a king in his court, not moving an inch, yet his subjects come from far and wide to seek his counsel. This is the essence of Law 8. It's about holding a position of power and letting others come to you. In the modern world, this law is equally relevant, whether you're a business leader, a politician, or even in social settings. Drawing people to you gives you control over the situation. But how do you make others come to you? The answer lies in using the right bait. Bait can be anything that attracts the other person's interest, a promise of gain, a tantalizing opportunity, or even the provision of valuable information. The key is to understand what motivates the other person. What do they desire? What do they fear? By aligning your bait with these motivations, you make it almost irresistible. But beware, this law is not without its risks. Misuse of bait can lead to mistrust or even retaliation. The art is in subtlety and discretion. Great strategists throughout history have used this law to their advantage. They knew that by making others come to them, they could conserve their own energy and resources, while forcing their opponents to expend theirs. In business negotiations, in political campaigns, even in personal relationships, drawing others to you gives you the home field advantage. You set the terms and control the environment. Remember, power is as much about perception as it is about reality. By making others come to you, you enhance your own aura of power and control. Use this law wisely, and watch as the world shifts in your favor. Why? Because words can be met with skepticism, but actions are undeniable. Imagine a heated debate. Each side presents their argument, but instead of reaching a conclusion, they find themselves in a stalemate. This is the limitation of words. They can be twisted, doubted, and forgotten. Now picture a leader who, instead of arguing, demonstrates their point through a decisive action. This silent strategy speaks volumes. It shows confidence, resolve, and power. Psychologically, actions tap into our basic instincts. We are wired to respond to what we see and experience, rather than what we hear. Actions create facts. And facts are harder to dispute than words. In our modern world, this law is more relevant than ever in business, politics, and even personal relationships. Those who master the art of demonstrating rather than debating often rise to the top. So, how can you apply this law in your life? Start by observing more and speaking less. Imagine unhappiness and misfortune as a cloud, a dark aura that surrounds certain individuals. When you get too close, this cloud begins to overshadow your own life. The law advises us to recognize these signs early and maintain a safe distance. In a contemporary setting, this law plays out in our daily interactions. The colleague who always complains, the friend who's perpetually in a crisis, the family member whose problems never end. Their negativity isn't just draining, it's infectious. Psychologists refer to this phenomenon as emotional contagion. Our brains are wired to mirror the emotions of those around us, which can be beneficial when surrounded by positive influences. However, the opposite is also true. Law 10 doesn't suggest that we lack empathy or abandon those in need. Instead, it's a call for self-preservation and discernment. It's about recognizing when someone's misfortune is beyond our help, and when their presence in our lives becomes detrimental to our own well-being. Think of it as navigating your ship away from stormy seas. It's not about indifference. It's about steering your life towards calmer waters, where you can thrive and help others from a position of strength. Law 10. Infection. Avoid the unhappy and unlucky serves as a reminder to guard our emotional health with the same vigilance we protect our physical well-being. Next on Machiavellian Psychology, we continue our journey with Law 11, the 48 Laws of Power. Law 11 of the 48 Laws of Power. Learn to keep people dependent on you. This law is a cornerstone in understanding the dynamics of power and control. Let's unravel the layers of this intriguing principle. He kept his nobles close, dependent on his favors, ensuring their loyalty and diminishing their power. By positioning yourself as a pillar of support, you become a necessary part of their stability. However, with great power comes great responsibility. It's crucial to balance this law with ethical considerations. Dependence should not lead to exploitation. To effectively implement Law 11, focus on developing unique skills and cultivating a reputation of reliability. Be the solution to problems, the beacon in chaos. In conclusion, Law 11, learn to keep people dependent on you, is about being indispensable and reliable. It's a powerful tool in the arsenal of those who wish to climb the ladder of success and maintain their position at the top. Next, we're exploring Law 12 of the 48 Laws of Power. Use selective honesty and generosity to disarm your victim. This law teaches a cunning strategy to gain an upper hand in the game of power. Robert Greene, in his seminal work, illustrates how selective honesty and generosity are not just acts of kindness, but strategic tools in manipulation. Throughout history, leaders and strategists have used this law to their advantage. From Julius Caesar to Cleopatra, the art of selective truth and calculated generosity has toppled empires and forged alliances. In today's world, this law is equally relevant. In the boardroom or the political arena, the right mixture of honesty and generosity can disarm opponents and win over skeptics. But how does one master this law? It's a delicate balance. Too much honesty can make you predictable, while excessive generosity can be seen as weakness. Experts in psychology and history weigh in, explaining the psychological underpinnings of this law. They discuss how human emotions like trust and gratitude can be leveraged for strategic gain. Think about real-life scenarios where selective honesty turned the tide in negotiations, revealing the subtle art of revealing truths to create a sense of trust and camaraderie. But beware, this law comes with its risks. Misuse can lead to loss of credibility and trust. We'll explore the do's and don'ts, ensuring you wield this tool effectively and ethically. So, how will you use Law 12 in your life? Will it be a move of a skilled strategist or a misstep of a novice? Consider the greats like Julius Caesar or Queen Elizabeth I. They didn't rise to power by appealing to others' compassion. They did it by aligning their requests with the desires and ambitions of those they sought help from. In today's world, this law is just as relevant, whether in business, politics, or personal relationships. Understanding and leveraging self-interest is key to gaining support and assistance. Psychologically, this law taps into the principle of reciprocity and the concept of enlightened self-interest. People are more inclined to help when they perceive a direct or indirect benefit to themselves. So, how can you apply this law effectively? First, understand the person you're asking for help. What drives them? What are their goals and aspiration? Frame your requests in a way that highlights the benefits to the person helping. Don't appeal to their sympathy or sense of duty. Remember, self-interest, not selflessness, is the currency of power. Next, we delve into Law 14 of the 48 Laws of Power. Pose as a friend, work as a spy. Throughout history, the most successful leaders knew the importance of gathering information. They understood that knowledge is power. But how do you acquire this knowledge? The answer lies in Law 14. To pose as a friend, work as a spy means to use your charm and social skills to gain trust, all while gathering the valuable information that others would keep hidden. It's about being a master of disguise, blending in while keeping your eyes and ears open. Imagine yourself at a gathering where every conversation is an opportunity to learn secrets, understand dynamics, and gauge motivations. But remember, this law is not about deceit for harm. It's about understanding the landscape you navigate. However, this law comes with a warning. If discovered, the consequences can be dire. Trust, once broken, is hard to rebuild. The key is subtlety and discretion. In today's world, this law translates into active listening, reading between the lines, and understanding the unspoken truths in business and personal relationships. It's about being observant and perceptive. To wield Law 14 effectively, one must balance charm with intelligence, friendliness with analysis. Remember, in the chess game of life, the most powerful player is often the most informed one. How have you seen this law play out in your life? Next, we explore Law 15 of the 48 Laws of Power. Crush your enemy totally. But before we begin, remember to hit the like button, subscribe, and turn on notifications for more insights into the art of power. Law 15 states, crush your enemy totally. But what does this mean in the context of modern power dynamics? It's not about literal destruction, but about leaving no room for future threats. Or consider the corporate world, where companies often buy out competitors entirely to eliminate future threats. In today's world, how do we apply this law? It's about strategic dominance in your field, whether in business, politics, or personal relationships. It means leaving no opportunity for rivals to gain a foothold. But remember, the goal is not to harm but to secure your position. It's about making strategic moves that leave no space for opposition to grow. While this law is powerful, it comes with ethical considerations. It's crucial to balance ambition with humanity. Power should be exercised responsibly, without causing unnecessary harm. To crush your enemy totally is to understand the importance of thoroughness in strategy, but it's also a reminder of the responsibility that comes with power. As we navigate the complex world of influence, let's strive for success with integrity. In the intricate game of power, every move counts. We are delving into the strategies that shape influence and control. Imagine a room full of people, all vying for attention. Now, picture one person quietly leaving, who becomes the most intriguing, the one who is no longer there. Their absence creates a space that draws attention and curiosity. Psychologically, absence can amplify respect and honor. It's a paradox of human nature. We tend to chase what retreats from us, value what is scarce, and desire what we cannot have. Great leaders and strategists have used this law to their advantage. By withdrawing, they've created a sense of scarcity and increased their perceived value. But beware, the art of using absence is a delicate balance. Too much absence can lead to irrelevance or forgetfulness. The key is timing and understanding the context. Think about how you could effectively use absence to increase respect and honor. Think about real-life scenarios to master this law. Whether you're a leader, an artist, or simply someone looking to enhance your social strategy, understanding the power of absence can be transformative. In the grand game of power, unpredictability is a formidable weapon. We are delving into the depths of human manipulation and strategy. Imagine a battlefield. The general who is unpredictable keeps the enemy in constant terror. They can't prepare, can't strategize. This is the essence of Law 17. Humans crave predictability and routine. When someone breaks this pattern, it creates anxiety and uncertainty. In power dynamics, this can be leveraged to keep others off balance. In the corporate world, unpredictability can be a tool to keep subordinates attentive and flexible. But beware. Overuse can lead to chaos, and mistrust. Studies show that unpredictable leaders can drive innovation but also increase stress levels in their teams. In politics, unpredictability can be a double-edged sword. It can bring a negotiating advantage, but also strain diplomatic relations. But remember, the goal of Law 17 is not to sow random chaos. It's about calculated unpredictability. Like a chess master, every unpredictable move should have a purpose, a strategy to keep others in suspended terror, ensuring you stay several moves ahead. In the game of power, the most unpredictable player is often the most feared and respected. In today's interconnected world, isolation is even more dangerous. The key to power lies in networks, relationships, and alliances. By isolating yourself, you cut off these vital connections. Isolation can be seductive. It promises safety and protection from the chaos of the outside world. But in reality, it blinds you. You become unaware of the changing dynamics around you, missing out on opportunities and threats. The most powerful individuals understand this. They stay engaged, keep their finger on the pulse of their environment, and maintain a web of alliances. They know that power is not just about strength, but about being aware, adaptable, and connected. So, how do you avoid the trap of isolation? Engage actively with your network. Seek diverse perspectives. Stay informed about the world around you. And most importantly, remember that in the game of power, isolation is not a fortress, but a prison. Next, we're exploring Law 19 of the 48 Laws of Power. Know who you're dealing with. Do not offend the wrong person. Throughout history, the downfall of many has been not by their lack of cunning or strength, but by misjudging or offending the wrong individual. This law teaches us the art of understanding and assessing those we interact with. Consider the tale of Thomas Becket and Henry II. A misunderstanding between the king and his archbishop led to a tragic end. By applying this law, you can navigate through life's social maze with grace and tact, avoiding pitfalls that have ensnared many. Throughout history, the most astute leaders and strategists have understood the power of non-commitment. By not committing, they remained flexible, adaptable, and, most importantly, in control. Imagine life as a journey with multiple paths. Committing to one path too soon can limit your options and blind you to opportunities. The essence of Law 20 is about keeping your options open. Let's consider a historical example. Insert specific historical example, e.g., a famous political maneuver. Here, the leader used ambiguity to their advantage, keeping allies and enemies guessing. Of course, this law is not without its risks. Overuse can lead to distrust and a reputation for being unreliable. The key is balance and knowing when to commit. Like a chess master, you must think several moves ahead, always considering the broader game. Law 20 is not about deceit. It's about strategic positioning. What do you think about Law 20? Is it a viable strategy, or does it cross ethical lines? Join the discussion in the comments below. Imagine a chess game. One player, seemingly making a foolish move, lures their opponent into a false sense of security. But as the game progresses, the true strategy unfolds, revealing the move as a clever ruse to gain the upper hand. But why does this work? Psychologically, when people feel superior, they become more relaxed and less vigilant. This law exploits that complacency. However, a word of caution: this strategy, while powerful, treads a fine line ethically. It's crucial to consider the moral implications and the potential for harm in personal and professional relationships. So, how can you apply Law 21 wisely? It's about balance. Use it to create opportunities, not to manipulate for harm. It's a tool for understanding dynamics, not a weapon to exploit others. But this retreat is a ruse, leading the enemy into a trap. This is the essence of transforming weakness into power. But how does this apply in today's world? In the realms of business, politics, or personal relationships, the principles remain the same. When you openly acknowledge your weaknesses, you can catch your competitors off guard, control the narrative, and ultimately turn the tables to your advantage. But remember, this law is a double-edged sword. It requires self-awareness, control, and the ability to read situations and people accurately. Misuse it, and you risk genuinely weakening your position. From ancient emperors to modern CEOs, those who have mastered this law have often risen to great heights, turning their apparent defeats into remarkable victories. Embrace the power of surrender and transform your weaknesses into your greatest strength. In this video, we are delving into the intricate and often misunderstood world of power dynamics. Next, we're exploring Law 23 of Robert Greene's The 48 Laws of Power. Concentrate your forces. This law teaches us about the power of focused energy and effort. Let's unravel the depths of this law and understand how it applies in our daily lives. Law 23, Concentrate your forces, is about the strategic gathering and use of resources. Greene suggests that power is most effective when it's concentrated. It's about depth, not breadth. When you scatter your efforts, you dilute your power. But when you focus, you become formidable. How can we apply this law in real life? In your career, it might mean focusing on one skill or project that can elevate you above your peers. In personal development, it could be about dedicating yourself to a single, transformative habit. But beware of overextension. Spreading yourself too thin can lead to burnout and ineffectiveness. It's crucial to find the balance between concentration and flexibility. Let's look at a historical example. Consider Napoleon Bonaparte. His success in battle often came from concentrating his forces at the decisive point, overwhelming his enemies. In today's world, think of a company like Apple. They concentrate their resources on a few well-designed products, rather than diversifying too much. This focus has been key to their success. To harness the power of Law 23, ask yourself, where can I concentrate my efforts? What is my decisive point of power? Remember, in the realm of power, less can be more. Focus your forces, and you'll amplify your power. Next, we're exploring Law 24 of Robert Greene's The 48 Laws of Power. Play the perfect courtier. This law is a guide to navigating complex social hierarchies with grace, tact, and cunning. To play the perfect courtier is to master the art of making oneself indispensable and charming to those in power. Let's break down the key strategies to become a perfect courtier. Like a chameleon, a skilled courtier adapts to the moods and preferences of their superiors. They blend in seamlessly, understanding when to be assertive and when to be deferential. A perfect courtier is a keen observer, always aware of the undercurrents in the room. They read people and situations, using this knowledge to navigate social complexities. Discretion is the art of keeping secrets and speaking carefully. A courtier knows that loose lips can sink ships, and that trust is a currency in the realm of power. Flattery, when used judiciously, can open doors, but beware, overdoing it can backfire. A courtier knows the art of subtle and sincere compliments. Effortless grace and nonchalance make a courtier's actions seem natural and unforced. This air of ease can be disarming and charming. Remember, the perfect courtier is not just about manipulation. It's about moving through social landscapes with grace, tact, and wisdom. It's about shedding your old skin to emerge anew, not just to adapt, but to take control of your image and how the world perceives you. History is replete with figures who have masterfully reinvented themselves. Take Catherine the Great, who transformed from a minor German princess. They craft their public personas to fit the narrative they wish to project, often changing it as the situation demands. But how can you apply this law in your own life? It starts with self-awareness. Understand your strengths, weaknesses, and the image you currently project. Then envision who you want to be, how you want to be perceived. This vision becomes your blueprint for transformation. However, beware of the pitfalls. Inauthenticity can lead to a loss of trust and respect. Let's look at some case studies. We'll see how successful individuals have applied Law 26, sometimes without even realizing it. But what drives this law? It's rooted in human psychology. We are quick to judge based on appearances and slow to dig deeper. A clean image can often mask a complex reality. While this law is powerful, it raises ethical questions. Is it justifiable to keep your hands clean at the expense of others? Where do we draw the line? Law 26, keep your hands clean, is a testament to the complex dance of power and perception. As we navigate our own paths to influence, understanding this law can be crucial. But remember, with great power comes great responsibility. This longing can be a powerful tool in the hands of a skilled manipulator. But why do people gravitate towards cult-like figures? The answer lies in our psychology. Humans are social creatures seeking connection, meaning, and a sense of belonging. When someone offers a vision that seems to fulfill these needs, it can be incredibly alluring. In today's world, we see elements of this law in various forms, from charismatic tech leaders to lifestyle gurus. The principles of creating a following are being employed in both subtle and overt ways. The key is authenticity and ethical conduct. Influence should not be about deception or exploitation, but about inspiring genuine belief and trust. Next, we explore Law 28 of the 48 Laws of Power. Enter action with boldness. This law, like a double-edged sword, can carve a path to immense power or lead to downfall. Let's unravel its mysteries. It's the art of assessing a situation and acting decisively without hesitation. In the game of power, hesitation or half measures are seen as weakness. Boldness, on the other hand, intimidates opponents, leaving them off balance and reactive. In today's world, boldness manifests in boardrooms, on political stages, and in social dynamics. It's the CEO who makes a daring business move, the politician who takes a strong stand, or even the individual who confidently navigates social landscapes. Boldness is as much about perception as it is about action. It's about how others see you. Historically, those who acted boldly, even if they failed, were often remembered more fondly than those who did nothing. They consider market trends, competitor reactions, and the long-term sustainability of their growth. From a psychological perspective, this law is about control. It's about understanding human nature and the predictable patterns of behavior that can impact your plans. How can you apply this law in your life? Start by clearly defining your goals. Then, map out the steps to achieve them, considering potential obstacles and the reactions of others. Always keep your end game in sight. In the game of power, as in chess, the player who plans to the end often emerges victorious. Remember, foresight is not just about predicting the future, it's about creating it. Next, we explore Law 30 of the 48 Laws of Power. Make your accomplishments seem effortless. This law teaches us the art of concealing our labors and making our achievements appear smooth and natural. How you present your achievements can significantly impact your perceived power and influence. Let's break down this law. Making your accomplishments seem effortless involves a blend of subtlety, confidence, and strategic concealment of the hard work behind the scenes. Think of real-life examples. Notice how these individuals display their achievements without revealing the sweat and toil behind them. How can you apply a Law 30 in your life? Here are some practical tips. First, focus on the end result rather than the process. Second, Maintain a calm and composed demeanor. And third, let others marvel at your results without showing all your cards. Imagine you're in a negotiation. You want to steer the outcome in your favor, but how the key lies in controlling the options. In battle, commanders offer their enemies limited options, each carefully crafted to lead to victory. In the corporate world, executives use this tactic in negotiations, marketing, and strategy. They present options that guide decisions subtly towards their goals. But how can you apply this law in your life? Start by understanding the psychology of choice. People crave control, so give them options, but options you've designed to lead to your desired outcome. Next, we're exploring Law 32 of the 48 Laws of Power. Play to people's fantasies. This law reveals a powerful truth about human nature and the art of persuasion. They are an escape from the mundane and alluring painting of what could be done in our modern world. This law is evident everywhere, from advertising that sells a lifestyle, not just a product, to political campaigns built on the promise of an idealized future. The technique remains the same. Tap into the deep-seated desires and fantasies of your audience. Why does this work? It's because fantasies are a refuge from the ordinary. They offer a glimpse into a world where desires are fulfilled and limitations are non-existent. Experts in psychology and history agree, playing to people's fantasies can be a potent tool. But it's a double-edged sword. Misuse it, and it can lead to disillusionment and mistrust. So, how can you apply Law 32 in your life, whether in business, personal relationships, or your own self-improvement journey? The key is to understand the dreams and aspiration of those around you. Align your message with these dreams, and you become irresistible. Remember, with great power comes great responsibility. Playing to fantasies should be done ethically and with caution. The line between inspiration and deception is thin. Law 32, play to people's fantasies, is a reminder of the compelling force of the human imagination. Use it wisely, and you can lead, inspire, and influence. Misuse it, and you risk everything. The choice is yours. Next, we're exploring Law 33 of the 48 Laws of Power. Discover each man's thumbscrew. This law is about finding the weaknesses in others to gain an advantage. But remember, with great knowledge comes great responsibility. Let's dive in. History is replete with examples of leaders and strategists who mastered this law. From courtiers in the Renaissance to modern-day politicians, the ability to identify and exploit vulnerabilities has been a tool for gaining power and influence. Imagine you're a rising executive in a competitive firm. You notice that your rival, despite being talented, consistently seeks approval and fears rejection. This is his thumbscrew. How can you use this knowledge ethically to advance your position? It's your job to be attentive. In business negotiations, understanding the other party's pressure points can lead to favorable deals. In personal relationships, knowing a partner's insecurities can strengthen the bond if handled with care. Remember, everyone wears a mask. Your ability to see behind it is a powerful skill, but it must be used ethically. Misusing this law can lead to mistrust and eventual downfall. As we explore these laws, it's crucial to balance power with empathy. The goal is not to harm, but to understand and navigate the complex world of human interactions. Law 33, discover each man's thumbscrew, is a reminder of the intricate tapestry of human psychology. Use this knowledge wisely and ethically. Next, we explore Law 34 of the 48 Laws of Power. Be royal in your own fashion. Act like a king to be treated like one. Throughout history, those who have wielded power effectively understood a fundamental truth. To be treated like royalty, one must first embody it. But what does it mean to act like a king in our modern world? But beware, there's a fine line between confidence and arrogance. The key is in balancing self-assuredness with grace and empathy. Consider the charismatic leaders of history. They understood the power of presence. Their demeanor wasn't just for show, it was a reflection of their self-belief and purpose. This law is not about deception. It's about understanding the power of perception and using it to your advantage. So, how can you apply this law in your life? Start by being mindful of your posture, your speech, and how you present yourself in different settings. Remember, every interaction is an opportunity to establish your presence. Imagine walking into a room and commanding it, not by demand, but by the sheer force of your presence. That's the essence of this law. In the end, be royal in your own fashion is about understanding the power of self-presentation. It's about cultivating a presence that commands respect and admiration. Here on Machiavellian Psychology, we continue to unravel the laws of power and influence. Remember, your perception shapes your reality. Next, we explore Law 35 of the 48 Laws of Power. Master the art of timing. But it's not just about the move you make. It's about when you make it. Consider the general who waits patiently, letting his enemy grow complacent before striking. This is the essence of mastering timing. In the corporate world, it's the CEO who times their product launch impeccably, seizing the market at just the right moment. Timing isn't just about action, it's also about inaction. Knowing when to pause, when to delay, when to accelerate, and when to leap forward. But how can you cultivate this skill? It starts with observation. Watch the rhythms of your environment, the patterns of your adversaries, the pulse of society. Understand that like the ebb and flow of tides, the world moves in cycles. Your ability to anticipate these rhythms sets you apart, and when the moment arrives, act decisively. Hesitation can be your greatest enemy. Remember, power is as much about the when as it is about the what. Master the art of timing, and you master the art of power. Throughout history, the most astute leaders and strategists have understood the value of this law. They knew that by showing disdain or indifference towards things they couldn't possess, they maintained their dignity and power. In the modern world, this law is equally relevant, whether in corporate boardrooms or political arenas. The ability to ignore what you cannot have prevents unnecessary entanglements and preserves your influence. By disdaining what is out of reach, you avoid showing weakness. It's a subtle form of psychological warfare, where your lack of interest diminishes the perceived value of the object and, in turn, elevates your status. Experts in psychology and history weigh in on the effectiveness of this approach. They discuss how detachment can be a powerful tool in negotiations and personal relationships. Let's see this law in action. We'll explore scenarios where individuals use indifference as a strategy to gain the upper hand. But what drives this law? We dive into the psychological underpinnings. Why does ignoring something or someone sometimes give us more power than direct confrontation? Next, we're exploring Law 37 of the 48 Laws of Power. Create compelling spectacles. This law is about the art of distraction and the power of spectacle to sway the masses. Let's unravel the mysteries behind this fascinating principle. Imagine a medieval king parading through the streets, adorned in jewels and fine robes. The spectacle isn't just about showing off wealth. All are spectacles designed to captivate and persuade. But how can you apply this law in your life? It's not about deceit or manipulation. Remember, it's not just what you say, but how you say it. The spectacle is in the presentation, the drama in the delivery. It's about making your message unforgettable. As we've seen throughout history, those who master the art of spectacle wield tremendous power. They understand that in a world of constant information, the most memorable message wins. Embrace the power of spectacle, but use it wisely and ethically. Next, we're exploring Law 38 of the 48 Laws of Power. Think as you like, but behave like others. This law, drawn from Robert Greene's provocative book, serves as a guide for navigating social dynamics with cunning and discretion, while nurturing your unique perspectives and ideas internally. Let's break it down. Why is this law powerful? First, it's about understanding the social environment. In any group, there are norms and expectations. By observing and adapting to these, you become a trusted member of the group. Consider the example of a historical figure. By outwardly conforming to the norms of their time, they were able to. But remember, this law isn't about suppressing your thoughts. It's about strategic expression. Your unique ideas are valuable. It's just about expressing them at the right time, in the right way. To master Law 38, observe, adapt, and blend in, but never lose the essence of your thoughts and creativity. It's a delicate balance, but one that can lead to immense power and influence. In the tranquil depths of the mind, like the still waters of an undisturbed lake, lies the potential for strategic mastery. We continue to delve into the intricate laws of power and influence. Next, we explore Law 39 from Robert Greene's The 48 Laws of Power. Stir up waters to catch fish. This law finds its roots in ancient wisdom, echoed by strategists like Machiavelli and Sun Tzu. It's about creating confusion and disruption to gain an advantage. But how does this translate to modern times? Imagine a business scenario. Two companies are competing for market dominance. One company decides to launch a series of unexpected, aggressive marketing campaigns, causing a stir in the industry. This disruption forces their competitor to react hastily, revealing their strategies and weaknesses. Or consider a social setting. An individual, seemingly an outsider, enters a group. They start stirring conversations, challenging norms, and sparking debates. This tactic not only makes them the center of attention, but also allows them to observe and understand the dynamics and vulnerabilities of the group. But a word of caution: this strategy requires finesse. Overuse or misapplication can lead to unnecessary enemies or a reputation for being manipulative. But remember, the key is subtlety and strategic thinking. Next, we're exploring Law 40 of the 48 Laws of Power. Despise the free lunch. Let's unravel the psychology behind this intriguing principle. First, let's step back in time. The concept of there's no such thing as a free lunch has deep historical roots. It implies that everything comes with a cost, often hidden or indirect. In ancient times, when barter was common, this law was understood instinctively. Today, it's more relevant than ever in our complex social and professional networks. In the modern world, a free lunch can take many forms: a favor, an offer of help, or an unexpected gift. But why should we be wary? The answer lies in the psychology of power and influence. Let's look at some case studies in politics, business, and even personal relationships. The free lunch has been used as a strategic tool to gain leverage. Notice how the giver often holds power over the receiver, subtly influencing decisions and actions. So, how should we navigate these situations? First, be aware. Recognize the potential strings attached to a free offer. Second, assess the true cost. What might you owe in return? And finally, learn to politely decline when the cost is too high. In conclusion, Law 40, Despise the Free Lunch, teaches us a valuable lesson in power dynamics. By understanding and applying this law, we can navigate our social and professional worlds with greater awareness and control. But why is this path fraught with peril? Let's dive deeper. First, let's understand the metaphor. Stepping into a great man's shoes means taking on a role or position previously held by someone immense, successful or revered. It's a daunting task, often setting you up for scrutiny and comparison. History is replete with examples of successors who struggled to live up to their predecessors. But this isn't just about historical figures. It applies to everyday situations like corporate leadership, sports teams, and even artistic endeavors. It's a psychological trap that can hinder your ability to lead effectively. So, what's the solution? The key is to carve your own path. It's about acknowledging the past but not being chained to it. Innovate, bring your unique perspective, and set new standards. Consider Tim Cook at Apple. He didn't try to be the next Steve Jobs. Instead, he used his strengths to steer Apple into new territories, like wearable technology and services. Every great man or woman is unique. Their success is often tied to their individuality. Emulating their path may be tempting, but it's their distinctiveness that made them great. Your power lies in your uniqueness, your path, your vision. Let's unravel the psychology behind this powerful tactic. Imagine a shepherd leading a flock. The sheep follow without question, guided by the authority of the shepherd. Now, picture what happens when the shepherd is removed. Confusion reigns, and the cohesive unit scatters. This metaphor is a potent representation of human social structures. History is rife with examples. From Julius Caesar to modern corporate takeovers, the principle remains the same: neutralize the leader, and the group loses its direction. Let's dive into some historical cases to see this law in action. But why does this law hold true? It's rooted in our psychological reliance on authority figures. Leaders provide direction, purpose, and stability. Remove the leader, and uncertainty takes hold, often leading to disarray. In today's world, this law can be seen in business, politics, and social movements. Understanding it is crucial for navigating complex group dynamics. Whether you're leading a team, managing an organization, or simply part of a group, recognizing the role of the leader is key. However, with great power comes great responsibility. It's important to consider the ethical implications of using such a strategy. Striking the shepherd should be a last resort, used with caution and foresight. This law, drawn from Robert Greene's seminal work, teaches us the art of persuasion and emotional connection. It's not just about logic or reason. It's about tapping into the deeper emotions and beliefs of those around you. Great leaders throughout history have mastered this law. They knew how to rally people to their cause, not just through logic, but by inspiring them, by speaking to their hearts. When you engage with someone's emotions, you create a bond that logic alone cannot forge. This emotional connection is key to persuasion and influence. But beware. This law is not about manipulation. It's about genuine connection. Misusing it can lead to distrust and resentment. Let's look at some modern examples, from charismatic business leaders to influential public speakers. Remember, in the game of power, the most effective moves are often those that win hearts and minds. Next, we're exploring Law 44 of the 48 Laws of Power. Disarm and infuriate with the mirror effect. This law uncovers a powerful psychological tactic used by some of history's most influential figures. The mirror effect is about reflecting your opponent's actions back to them. It's a strategy of psychological warfare, where you become a mirror to their psyche, behaviors, and tactics. Throughout history, leaders and strategists like Sun Tzu and Machiavelli have used this technique. For instance, Sun Tzu advised that by mirroring the enemy's strategy, you can create confusion and chaos within their ranks. In today's world, this law is evident in politics and business. When a competitor launches a product, mirroring their strategy can unsettle them, forcing them to make errors. Psychologically, the mirror effect exploits the human tendency for self-obsession. When people see their behavior mirrored, it can lead to self-consciousness and emotional imbalance. However, it's crucial to consider the ethical implications. While effective, mirroring can escalate conflicts and lead to mutual destruction. To use this law wisely, it's important to understand your opponent's motives and to mirror only when it aligns with your ethical framework and long-term goals. In conclusion, Law 44, disarm and infuriate with the mirror effect, is a potent tool in the arsenal of power. Used wisely, it can be a game changer in your strategy for influence and success. Next, we're exploring Law 45 of the 48 Laws of Power. Preach the need for change, but never reform too much at once. This law teaches us about the delicate balance between innovation and stability. Throughout history, change has been a constant, but how it's implemented can mean the difference between lasting impact and fleeting rebellion. This law advises us to advocate for change, to stir the desire for something new and better. Yet, it warns against upheaval that is too rapid or radical. Imagine change as a growing plant. It needs time to root and adapt to its environment. Sudden, drastic changes can shock the system, leading to resistance or even failure. In the corporate world, this law plays out in strategic planning and innovation. Leaders who understand it introduce new ideas and reforms gradually, winning allies and reducing opposition. In politics and social movements, this law is equally crucial. Successful leaders articulate the need for change, creating a vision that people can rally behind. Yet, they navigate the path of reform with caution, avoiding the pitfalls of radicalism that can lead to chaos or backlash. Like a master chess player, the practitioner of Law 45 thinks several moves ahead. They understand the psychology of change, how to initiate it, how to manage it, and how to make it last. History is replete with examples of those who mastered this law, and those who ignored it at their peril. The key is balance, advocating for change while understanding the human resistance to it. As we navigate our own paths of power and influence, let us remember Law 45. Change is necessary, but it must be approached with wisdom and patience. Preach the need for change, but never reform too much at once. Keep playing the game wisely. Next, we're exploring Law 46 of the 48 Laws of Power, never appear to perfect. Let's unravel the psychology behind this intriguing law. Robert Greene's 48 Laws of Power is a modern classic, dissecting the dynamics of power and human interactions. Law 46 warns against the dangers of appearing too perfect. But why? Let's find out. Throughout history, those who seemed too perfect often invited envy and suspicion. From ancient monarchs to modern celebrities, an aura of perfection can create a target on one's back. Humans are inherently skeptical of what seems too good to be true. Perfection can be intimidating, and it often breeds jealousy. In history, leaders who appeared infallible often faced revolts. People relate to flaws and human struggles. In everyday life, this law plays out in subtle ways. In the workplace, in social circles, even in personal relationships, appearing too perfect can create distance and mistrust. Let's break it down. When you appear flawless, you set an unrealistic standard. Others may feel inadequate or suspicious of your motives. This can lead to isolation and hidden animosity. Imagine a colleague who never makes a mistake, always dresses impeccably, and has an answer for everything. Instead of admiration, they might earn resentment. Psychologically, this law taps into our desire for authenticity. We connect with those who show vulnerability, who are relatable. Perfection often feels unattainable and alienating. So, how do you apply this law? It's about balance. Strive for excellence, but don't hide your flaws. Share your challenges and learnings. It makes you more approachable and trustworthy. In conclusion, Law 46, never appear to perfect, is a reminder of the power of authenticity. In a world that often chases ideals, embracing our imperfections can be our greatest strength. Remember, power is a game of perception. Play it wisely. Next, we explore Law 47 of the 48 Laws of Power. Do not go past the mark you aimed for. In victory, know when to stop. Throughout history, the greatest leaders and strategists have known the importance of this law. From Alexander the Great to modern corporate moguls, the principle remains the same. In victory, restraint is often your greatest ally. Imagine a battlefield. The moment of victory is sweet, the enemy is retreating, and the spoils of war are within grasp. But this is the critical moment. Do you push your advantage, risking it all? Or do you consolidate your gains, ensuring long-term success? Overreaching in victory can lead to unforeseen consequences. It's not just about winning the battle. It's about securing the peace that follows. Psychologically, it's a matter of ego versus strategy. The greatest challenge for many is to control the former while focusing on the latter. Let's break it down. Law 47 is about understanding limits, your own and others. It's about recognizing the point of diminishing returns, where further action only leads to negative outcomes. In the corporate world, this law manifests in mergers and acquisitions, in market expansions, and in leadership decisions. The line between aggressive growth and overextension is thin and often blurred. This is the moment of truth. Knowing when to stop can mean the difference between sustainable success and catastrophic failure. Law 47 isn't just a strategy. It's a philosophy. It teaches us about humility, foresight, and the wisdom of restraint. As we observe those who have mastered this law, we see a common thread, a deep understanding of the human condition, an awareness of their own limitations, and a profound respect for the unpredictable nature of life. We've journeyed through history, psychology, and strategy to understand Law 47. Do not go past the mark you aimed for. In victory, know when to stop. Remember, in the game of power, it's not just about winning. It's about winning wisely. Next, we're exploring the final, and perhaps the most enigmatic of Robert Greene's 48 Laws of Power, Law 48, Assume Formlessness. To understand this law, let's travel back in time. Sun Tzu, in The Art of War, emphasized the power of being unpredictable and adaptable. Like water, which takes the shape of its container, formlessness is about being flexible and not sticking to a single strategy or identity. In today's world, this law is more relevant than ever. From businesses that pivot to survive, to politicians who change tack with public opinion, those who embody formlessness navigate challenges more effectively. Psychologically, formlessness is tied to our ability to adapt to changing circumstances. It's about keeping your opponents and competitors guessing, never revealing your full strategy. So, how can you apply Law 48 in your life? First, avoid being predictable. Change your patterns and strategies frequently. Second, be adaptable. Embrace change rather than resisting it. And finally, keep your long-term plans to yourself, revealing them only when necessary. But beware, formlessness has its risks. Overuse can lead to a lack of identity and trust issues with others. Balance is key. In conclusion, Law 48, Assume Formlessness, is about being adaptable, unpredictable, and strategically opaque. In the chess game of power, it pays to be a player whose next move is always a mystery. And that wraps up the 48 Laws of Power. Thank you for watching Machiavellian Psychology. Like, subscribe, and hit the bell icon for more insights into the psychology of power, manipulation, influence, persuasion, and more. Until next time, stay powerful and unpredictable. Please note, this video is designed for educational purposes and should be viewed with a responsible understanding of the ethical implications of power dynamics.